I had fun. I had so much fun. It was incredible to be there, to be a part of history, and actually, to be completely honest, I just saw the end because of all the comments I was reading, and they stopped the fight after the bell.
Yeah.
So the bell went, and then they stopped the fight, and then stopped the fight. Why? You know, it's like then it's my time to rest.
Canelo, early stoppage that?
Huh?
Was that an early stoppage?
I don't think so. I think they say a brutal knockout.
Who's next for Usyk?
All the best for Usyk.
Who do you want to see him fight next?
Huh?
Who's next for him?
Oh, he can fight whoever.
Rico won that fight, man. Hey, boxing media! Rico won that fight. That was an early stoppage. They robbed that fucking guy.
What's next for Rico, do you think?
Okay, huh?
What do you think's next for Rico?
Dylan White. I think Rico should fight Dylan White. Huh?
Yeah, what about the rematch?
They got a rematch.
That was disgusting, how they stopped that fight. That shouldn't have been allowed. Listen, for it to be a world champion fight, to just stop it like that. Rico has got one of the best recoveries in the system. Go look at his kickboxing fights. He's had his face, he's been literally all over the show. He's gone back to the corner and he's won the fight.
With only moments remaining before the final bell, Rico Verhoeven claimed victory was taken from him unfairly. Now, the reigning kickboxing champion is finally speaking out and revealing his side of the story.
Of course, mistakes can be made, but then, looking back at it, the referee should admit his mistake, look back at it, and say like, hey, so it's either a no contest or we go to the scorecards. And I think if we go to the scorecards, I was ahead. Yeah, we had an amazing game plan, and I think it worked. Amazing. So I'm super proud, super happy with that. And of course, if I'm gonna look back at it, and there are gonna be things I'm like, I could have done this a little better, I could have done that a little better. But yeah, he had both hands full. So, and he's been the undisputed champion. So I think, I didn't see any boxer do that to him, till tonight. So I'm super happy, super proud of myself.
Meanwhile, Rico has at last opened up about the loss, describing his emotions as mixed feelings, proud of how he performed but heartbroken by the way it all came to an end.
Disappointed are you with the stoppage?
Bittersweet. We were so close. Yeah, it is what it is.
Anything surprise yourself tonight in terms of how quick you got in your flow and you were dominating the fight?
Yeah, I felt so good. I felt so comfortable, and I think maybe that was maybe also the thing in the end. I felt maybe too comfortable.
Adding to the newest reactions, what makes the situation even more controversial, according to Ariel Helwani, is that the referee did not simply end the fight too soon, but stepped in and called it off after the round had already finished.
The fight is stopped with 1 second left in the 11th round. But in reality, if you actually watch it, and I've watched every single video, every single angle, it was seconds after the 11th round was over. Ding, ding, ding. And then it stopped. And it wasn't like, oh, stopped in between rounds. No. It was stopped maybe because the ref didn't hear it, or maybe because he's incompetent. I don't know. Mark Lyson is his name. It was an absolute awful stoppage. They showed us the scorecards. 2 judges had it tied going into the 11th. Would have been a 10-8 round. 1 judge had Rico up. In the end, he would have gotten robbed by the scorecards. I had him up like 3-4 rounds.
As for the performance, Ariel Helwani was seriously impressed. Even though Verhoeven entered the fight as a huge underdog, Helwani praised it as a sharp, masterful display of skill and revealed that he had Verhoeven leading by 3 to 4 rounds on his personal scorecard.
He fought a brilliant fight, a beautiful fight against Oleksandr Usyk. He was way more aggressive than he usually is in kickboxing. He looked poised, composed, technical, and who knows, did Usyk take him seriously? I don't know. He seemed to be in shape. He seemed to be ready to go. He seemed to have said a million times over that he was taking this seriously, and yet there's Rico Verhoeven in front of the pyramids, putting on a show against the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and, in my opinion, the best heavyweight in the world.
And if you thought Ariel Helwani was passionate in his reaction, boxing analyst Wade Foam took things to an even more extreme level. He described the outcome as a complete and undeniable robbery, strongly criticizing what he viewed as an embarrassing and deeply questionable referee stoppage. Foam did not stop there either, going as far as to raise serious concerns about the credibility, fairness, and overall legitimacy of the sport of boxing itself after witnessing how everything unfolded.
I've just seen one of, if not the biggest robberies in boxing history. It just went down in the Rico Verhoeven Oleksandr Usyk fight. And I'm saying that right because Rico Verhoeven was going to win that fight. He was going to win it. And the referee robbed him. This is an all-time panic button embarrassment moment for boxing that I won't soon forget. I hope that none of you soon forget. We just saw a flat-out ski mask bank robbery.
When everything is finally taken into account and the dust settles, Wade Foam arrives at what he believes is one unavoidable conclusion. In his view, Rico Verhoeven was denied a historic upset victory in heartbreaking fashion, and the events that unfolded in Egypt became a major source of embarrassment for the sport of boxing, leaving serious questions and heavy criticism surrounding the outcome.
And big up to Rico Verhoeven. I think he just exposed the entire sport. From the fight itself, to the refereeing, to the scorecards. Boxing's in the mud, dude. This is awful. And good for Rico, because he got an opportunity, and he took it. And he tried to go in there and win the fight. And he almost did. He was this close. Should have won it. Will they do a rematch? Rico deserves it. They probably won't, but Rico deserves it. And we know how these things go the second time around. You know, Usyk had seen him once before, and ultimately you would hope his experience would take over. So I don't have those answers, but again, Usyk may have stopped him in that 12th round, and it looked like he was badly, badly hurt. But that stoppage, man, that'll go down in history as one of the worst I've ever seen, and maybe the sport will ever.
What makes the situation even more interesting is where Chael Sonnen chooses to draw the line. Rather than immediately jumping to accusations of deliberate corruption, Sonnen separates intentional wrongdoing from simple incompetence, explaining that while boxing is constantly surrounded by claims of corruption and controversy, actually proving that something was intentionally fixed or manipulated is an entirely different challenge and far more difficult to establish.
That was very interesting to me. Right? You will always hear the word corruption with boxing. People are going around, they're saying it now, right? They're much like gypped, much like robbed, and then you have corruption. I haven't bought into the boxing corruption on the professional level as many as some. I have bought into it on the Olympic level, on the amateur level, but I guess that's just because of the way I choose to define corruption as opposed to incompetence. So the judges would have handled it if the referee hadn't. Like, they all do appear to be working together.
And when it comes to delivering his final assessment, Chael Sonnen keeps his position surprisingly direct and grounded. Rather than immediately embracing theories of corruption or hidden agendas, Sonnen explains that unless there is clear proof of outside influence, such as a signal being sent, private instructions delivered, or some form of external communication reaching the referee or judges, what many fans instantly label as a robbery is usually something far less dramatic but still deeply frustrating: incompetence. In his view, poor decision-making, questionable officiating, and inconsistent judging have long been recurring problems within professional boxing. Sonnen argues that while the outcome may appear suspicious or unfair from the outside, that alone does not automatically mean there was a conspiracy behind the scenes. Instead, he believes the bigger issue is a flawed system that repeatedly falls short, leaving deserving fighters disappointed and forcing fans to question the fairness and reliability of decisions that continue to damage the sport's credibility.
Referee was corrupt. We're going to have to prove that somebody gave him a signal. Somebody had to give him a signal. Otherwise, he's incompetent. But there's a massive difference. We live with incompetence in everyday affairs. Corrupt is very different. Now you do have the judges as well. The judges looked like they were very much in line to do the job. And that's what they would have been brought there to do. They are not going to let somebody from a different sport, like Rico, the sport of kickboxing, come over and take their champion down.
Adding further context, Peter Fury describes the stoppage as exactly what many observers are calling it: premature. With just around 2 seconds remaining on the clock, he argues that Rico Verhoeven still had every right to see out that final moment, survive the closing exchange, and then recover properly during the rest period that was immediately about to follow. When it comes to the overall performance, Fury is equally vocal in his admiration. He claims that at several points in the fight, Rico Verhoeven completely outclassed Oleksandr Usyk, effectively schooling him in stretches with sharp boxing IQ and controlled exchanges. He also highlights how extraordinary the entire situation is, pointing out that Verhoeven managed to adapt to elite-level boxing in just 6 months, making the quality of his performance even more impressive and adding another layer to the debate surrounding the controversial ending.
You know, look, Alexander and his team, they didn't underestimate Rico. They asked him about Dubois, who's a harder fight, Dubois or Rico. He said Rico's a harder fight before he even got in there. He prepared well because he knew what Rico was. He knew what he was. Yeah, me and his team, he's got a great team. He's been with his team from day one. Couldn't do this on my own. You know, they've been with us. It's all a team effort, this. It's been incredible. From Rico, his team, I'm proud of him and I'm really proud of the team. He's done marvellous in there. He's fought the best in the world, yeah, and I am so proud of this kid, trust me. To do what he's done, to transition in 6 months to this, is just short of incredible. And Usyk needs all the credit in the world because he's beat a monster in Rico.
On top of that, Peter Fury also reveals that Rico is fully committed to pushing for a rematch, hoping it can be set up sooner rather than dragged out over time. What makes the situation even more intriguing is the mutual respect that followed the fight, with Oleksandr Usyk himself reportedly unable to conceal his admiration afterward, referring to Rico as a monster and acknowledging him as a genuinely dangerous and serious competitor. When the reigning champion speaks about his opponent in those kinds of terms, it shifts the entire narrative, making it clear that this is no longer just about business, promotion, or entertainment value. Instead, it feels far deeper than that, a rivalry now defined by respect, controversy, and the sense that the story between them is far from finished, with unfinished business still waiting to be resolved inside the ring.
Rico said he feels like he might have just switched off slightly in the 11th round and that's why he's frustrated.
I think that's what it is. He switched off. But look, when you're tired and you're fatigued, you switch off. That's all it takes.
His Excellency says he wants the rematch. Do you see that being likely next for Rico?
I hope it is. I'd like to see it run back. It was an amazing performance, and I think Alexander would take it. Hopefully His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh can get it on again. He wants it. He said it now, I'm not happy, I want a rematch.
Now, on the other hand, what makes Hughie Fury's praise stand out even more is the credit he gives to the entire training setup and the tactical blueprint crafted by his father, saying Verhoeven carried out the game plan almost flawlessly and applied pressure on Usyk in exactly the manner they had prepared for in camp. However, when it comes to the idea of a rematch, Fury becomes a bit more cautious and measured. While the discussions are clearly circulating, he remains doubtful about whether the second fight will actually come together, even suggesting that Usyk's team may ultimately decide to steer clear of Verhoeven rather than take the risk of running it back.
And my dad is a mastermind behind all of this. Listen, you got to give credit to all of it, all the full team, Dennis, everyone involved, yeah? But it's like, but Rico, he done the instructions and was listening to my father, and the transformation, what he's done is incredible. He's just give Usyk his hardest fight. I think they'll avoid Rico at all measures, but hopefully he stick to the word what Turkey said, and the rematch can happen.
And Hughie Fury takes his assessment even further, suggesting that Verhoeven's style, size, and physical strengths would not only trouble Usyk, but could also create serious difficulties for several elite heavyweight contenders across the division. He specifically points out Anthony Joshua as an example, arguing that Rico's pressure, athletic ability, and unorthodox transition into boxing could have potentially translated into real success against a fighter of Joshua's caliber, making him far more than just a one-fight surprise in the heavyweight landscape.
Yeah, listen, what he's done, he's gone back to hell in this fight in the camp, but he's done everything my dad said. And listen, all he'd done, he had to go back to that round and he would have come off with it. But listen, it's one of them, nothing you can do about it. It's God, and that's what's meant to happen. It's God's will.
When you look, and obviously he was supposed to fight Anthony Joshua, how would you have seen that fight going based off tonight then?
Yeah, he would have knocked Joshua out. Definitely, listen, he's just give the number one heavyweight, who's beat them all twice, yeah, the best, hardest fight he's ever had.
Despite the disappointment, Verhoeven makes one point absolutely clear. His journey in boxing is far from over. He stays completely dedicated to the sport and is willing to embrace whatever opportunities come next, whether that ends up being a rematch with Usyk or another major, high-stakes showdown. When speaking about his rival, there is nothing but genuine admiration. He explains that Usyk delivered exactly what he anticipated: elite speed, sharp explosiveness, and exceptional movement, and he is choosing to absorb the experience fully as a valuable lesson while turning his focus toward the future and what comes next in his boxing career.